Welcome students. Transportation is the major important factor which is required to think while selecting the location of industries. Transportation is a factor which we need continuously. It is required to bring the raw material from mines or from the primary areas to the industries and the finished product from industries to market. This market can be local, national and international market. So, to bring the raw material and to send the finished product, we require transportation. Now, the requirement of transportation, it is depend on the nature of raw material and nature of finished product. Now, nature of raw material we have already discussed that the raw material is in the form of perishable, non-perishable, weight losing, non-weight losing, heavy bulky. So these are the different natures of raw material. So on that basis we have to decide which transportation we should utilize. Similarly, the finished product, the nature of finished product, heavy, bulky, light-weighted, perishable, non-perishable. What is the nature of finished product? On that basis also we need to think about transportation. Now, while selecting the transportation, we all know that different means of transportations are available. In that, roads, that is also railway, then airways and waterways. Now, in these all means of transportation, we have available the different modes of transportation also. So, which mode and mean of transportation we should utilize, we have to think. Now, every transportation mode and mean of transportation has its advantages and disadvantages. On that basis, we need to choose the transportation facility, and so that we can save the cost also. Now, while selecting roads for short distance, it is useful. But for heavy, bulky and for long distance, we can utilize railways. And so, in the case of iron and steel industries, especially railways are utilized because railways can transport heavy, bulky and material for long distance, and at a time huge material you can send. And also the railways are the cheaper than the roadways. So railways are the best for the transportation for heavy, bulky and the material which is in huge size and for long distance. Now, in airways, it is very difficult because in airways there is a limitation for the passenger as well as the products transportation. And so generally, airways are utilized while sending the precious goods. For example, the transportation of gold, silver, diamonds, platinum. These products, they are very costly, and for transportation we need a security. So airways is quite secure, as well the distance, especially the long distance, is covered in the short time period. And so in such cases the airways are utilized. Now waterways. Waterways is where the water sources which are available throughout the year. Now, in the local areas, for example, the rivers which are flowing throughout the year, and the water channel is wide as well as it has a depth. Those rivers are utilized for the transportation. Now, in international trade, waterway is very important, because in international trade, for example, from India we want to send the material to America or European countries, and if the huge material we want to send, then the waterways is the best, because the distance is very long, as well waterway is cheaper than all the other modes of transportation. So waterways play an important role in the international trade. So when we are selecting a location of industry, we need to think whether the transportation is available or not, and which mode of transportation is available, and it is depend on the nature of raw material as well as nature of finished product, because in transportation the products may get spoiled, the products may get damaged, then it is a loss of manufacturer, and so the correct transportation facility is important to choose while selecting the location of industry. The next factor, that is land. Now, you want to start the industry, so you need to construct the shed. It is either small, big, it is depend on the size of your industry. And for that you need a land. Otherwise, where you will build your industry. So you need a land. A land which is we want in also cheaper rate. As we know, in modern times land prices are rising and they are reaching at height. But while choosing the location or location of industry, we want a land. But again, this location should be near the market, because we need to save the transportation cost. And so availability of land is also important factor which is affecting on the location of industry, because nature of raw material, nature of finished product, these factors we need to consider. And so availability of land is also one of the major factor while selecting a location of industry. So we have discussed the transportation facility and the availability of land, because both factors are important, and transportation, that is the important one, because we need transportation continuously, and the cost which we have to spend on transportation, that is always increasing. And so while selecting the location of industry, it is very important to see the availability of transportation facilities, not only transportation but means and modes of transportation also, because through which we are transporting the raw material as well as finished product. So transportation is one of the major factor while selecting a location of industry. Thank you.